Hey, it's Dr. Meredith Watson, the unapologetic therapist, the creator of the Phoenix Therapy Method. I wanted to come on and talk about know from your soul what you want and don't dare for a nanosecond go and, veer from that. Like, always know what you want from your soul and actually go after that. Go after it and make it your priority, your primary goal in life. Don't forget to share this video, type shared, and I'll pull a card for you and we'll go from there. I need to actually make it public if I want you to share it, right? Okay, there we go. So that makes it easier for you to share. The root cause of a lot of the reasons that we are in pain, it stems from our not living in our truth. And after denying our truth for so long, consistently, we inevitably get to the point where we just say we can't take it anymore, just fuck it, we don't care. And that's what happened to me yesterday. And by the way, my focus in life is to teach people income generation, for you to love yourself, feel confident about yourself, be unapologetic, and know that your voice and your words matter, and to even use speaking engagements and publishing to get your message out to the masses. But I come from a college of thought that normally people won't change a situation or an event or anything going on in their life until it hurts to stay in that situation. Like, going forward with the situation, the pain of going forward with the situation as it is more painful than trying to change it or fix it or altercate it in some way. And I realized a few things about myself going through really kind of forcing things for the last few weeks. That the reason I was forcing them is because deep down I didn't really feel like I was enough, that what I was doing, who I was, what I stood for, everything was enough. So therefore I had to really dig deep and know that what I offer is enough, who I am is enough. And I'd become even so afraid of that not being enough that I was starting to doubt my own parenting skills and thinking that because I didn't do A, B, and C the way all these other people were doing it, there was something wrong with how I was coming across, who I was, how I was parenting. And even if the way I was raising my daughter would produce this well-rounded, loving, evolved, ready to spring forth into society type of child, and then I had to look back at my life and my morals and values and what I'm teaching her and how I'm showing up in my life and how I'm showing up in my business, and knowing that who I am at the core as a parent, as a mother, as a person, as a business owner is more than enough. And more than enough. I'm worthy, I deserve, and it's not just me teaching other people that I have to believe that at a core level myself. And doubting myself as a parent isn't going to help. And she's very evolved and very well-rounded, and she's very gregarious, and she's an impeccably awesome child. And when you start to allow other people's views to usurp your views and how you feel, because there's always going to be people out there who are going to judge you, how you parent, where you live, what you do for a living, who you marry. There are a lot of people out there who are willing and excited to dissect a decision you've made in your life and find the tiniest indiscretion or the finite most discretion. That's not what I wanted to say. The smallest indiscretion or the smallest hiccup in what you're doing and blow it out of proportion, and they'll jump on the chance to criticize you and judge you and tell you what you're doing is wrong and that they have a better way. And as with anything, you have to decide if you're going to put other people's views above your own, if you're going to let other people decide for you what's best for you, versus you who are in the situation, who are in the muck and mire, who are in the arena, playing the best way you know how and knowing the ins and outs of the situation better than those that are on the outside looking in. Oh, don't forget to share the video. I did make it so you could share it, and then type that you shared it and I'll pull a card for you. And sometimes we're afraid to look at ourselves. We are afraid that the situation we're in, sometimes it's just too painful, but we are just too afraid to face it, and we can't deal with what that might mean. But burying our heads in the sand like an ostrich and denying the truth and denying what's really going on in our lives just puts sand in our eyes and our ears, and we're not really focusing and we're not really getting to the root of the issue. And our view of reality and how things can change can really be stagnated. And ultimately, what will lead to our freedom and healing is to understand that the root of any human problem we find ourselves is often an opportunity or a challenge or an opportunity for us to put our true selves out there. We've been afraid to embrace and and engulf that into our life and embrace that into our life and incorporate that into our life because we're afraid for some reason, and then not really realizing that the problem isn't a real problem, but rather it points to another kind of subcutaneous, deeper issue, a true part of ourselves that we haven't incorporated into our lives because we're fearful. And if we really look at every problem as it is, if we're willing to look at it, there's a part of our true selves that's being asked or invited to show up. Like, for example, you come home, it's been a long day, and your house is a mess. Like, people haven't cleaned up, and it's just a catastrophe. Well, maybe that's an opportunity. And in your head, you're thinking that no one cares about you, but an opportunity for you to realize it's triggering this old wound that really deep down what you're really feeling, or what you're really more deeply feeling, is that you're not valued and no one's really there for you. No one's standing up for you. No one cares about your effort and the time and energy you put into whatever it is, and they're not taking you seriously. Again, don't forget to share the video and type that you shared it, and I'll pull a card for you. And when you feel taken advantage of, it might be an opportunity to show up and stand up for yourself. When you feel like you're not being heard, it's a chance for you to connect with your inner self and your self-worth and speak your truth and own your power and take a stand and have your voice and your message heard. A lot of people, sometimes with sore throats or excessive coughing, it's really their throat chakra. They don't feel like their voice is heard. They're not speaking their truth. They're not speaking out for themselves, and they're shrinking for someone else. And for me, I took a corporate job for a short period of time to add some extra income, and I ended up hating the job, absolutely hating it, and more the people than the actual job itself. And it was a chance for me to realize my worth and that I'm really not the employee material. I do best when I set the pace, I set the tone, and if I'm really honest with myself, peopling in that manner is not the best thing for me. And a lot of what I also hear a lot of is people feeling overlooked and undervalued. And that's an invitation for you to be seen and for you to know that it's safe to be seen. It's safe for you to voice your opinion and to go out there and show the world what you're working with. And during the process of revamping and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, I've decided to recognize some of the areas where I was shrinking, where I could do better in showing up and being visible and vulnerable. And it's one of the reasons I trying to do more lives. Don't forget to share this live, and I'll pull a card for you. Just let me know you shared it. And I have one body, and I have to take care of it, not just physically but mentally. And I have to show my daughter and others that it's important that you're soul happy as well as body happy, and happy in all the areas of your life where you may not be happy right now. It's time to take a stand and actually be happy with those situations. And also know that situations aren't that you think are mistakes are really not mistakes. They're just opportunities to learn and to see things differently and to change and maneuver and change directions and alter any actions that are not going well for you. And you have to know that you can fight. You can fight the lesson. You can fight not knowing. But until you satisfy it and you learn from it and you get what's supposed to come in terms of the lesson you need to learn, the where you need to grow and evolve. I posted a quote a few weeks ago, and it was that maybe I'm not asking too much, but I'm asking the wrong person. And that came from really realizing that some people simply cannot or will not ever show up or be what or who you need them to be. And you have to accept that. And it may be the hardest thing to accept. They're not going to change unless they really want to change, regardless of how long you wait, how you threaten, how you beg, how you plead, how you do the little spell magic on them. Unless they want to change, they're not going to change. And prayer to accept that, whatever your form of meditation and prayer to your higher calling or higher being or higher self incorporates, denying that truth and continuing to do the same thing over and over again, which is a form of insanity, doing the same thing with expecting a different result. But when you're denying that, you're putting a halt in how you can progress and how you can grow. Maybe you're speaking to the wrong audience. Maybe the relationship you're in needs to end. And always be open to learning more, to going deeper with yourself and your life and where you are, and thinking about where you want to be and the steps you're willing and open to take to get there. It may be the scariest thing in the world, but a lot of success is on the other side of fear. And often what we despise in other people, or what turns us off in other people, is something that we have to dissect in our life. Like for me, loud people, they trigger me because they're so bold and proud of who they are and what they have to say, and they're just out there living life large. And I want to be that powerful. I want to be that bold, and maybe not necessarily that loud, but to be able to know that there are areas in my life where I'm shrinking and not standing up for myself and not building the momentum that I want to. Maybe I need to be louder symbolically in areas to grow in the areas that I want to grow in. Some people, the way they dress, the way they look, the way they carry themselves may be a trigger to me, but it's also about being comfortable in one's own skin and not resenting people who are very comfortable and willing to show up and be authentic. And maybe that's an area where you want to grow, where you want to be more authentic and out there more and speaking your truth more. A big one for me is moms who get breaks. I'm not a better mother because I don't take breaks. It's because I choose not to take the breaks. I could get a nanny, I could hire a sitter more often, but I'm very careful about who watches my daughter and how her care is handled when I'm not around, and that's my own issues. Another one is couples. Now, I'm not the marrying kind. I know that about myself. I totally embrace that. But people who say that their mate is their best friend. A part of me wonders how true that is. Another part of me is kind of pondering, what that would be like, to be able to confide and just trust completely implicitly this partner that you've chosen to spend the rest of your life with. And I know that the first step for that for me would be to move past and through and above my trust issues. Oh, don't forget to share the video. If you share it, let me know and I will pull a card for you. And at some point you have to decide who you're going to be and how your future is going to go about, how you're going to live the rest of your life. At some point you have to decide the past is the past. What's happened has happened. And now it's an opportunity for you to grow and evolve and move and use that as a catalyst for changing. Everybody doesn't want to do that. I've noticed that some people just want to stay stuck in the muck and mire because they refuse to acknowledge that what's done is done and there's nothing they can do but move through it and grow from it. And it may not have been your fault. I'm totally aware of that. But it is definitely your responsibility to deal with it and release it and take control of your life going forward. And you may forget to remind yourself, but set a reminder on your phone. Make sticky notes all over the house or apartment or wherever you live, all over the car. Don't, get in the way of driving. But set reminders to know that the answer is within. You hold the key to your future, and everything you want is all nestled inside. And as I said before, I'm Dr. Meredith Watson, the unapologetic therapist, the creator of the Phoenix Therapy Method. My goal as a Phoenix Rising single mom is to teach people how to wake up with more money than they went to bed with, feel good about themselves, and have faith and love and confidence regarding themselves, and not allow others and situations to consume them or control them. It doesn't have to be that way. And I love beaches and mountains and islands and sleeping and food, but being unapologetic, getting to that point in my life where I give no fucks because people are going to do what they're going to do, but it's my decision and my responsibility to take care of me and my daughter and make sure that we are emotionally, physically, and in every way healthy. And I teach people that at their soul level, at the very core, that their words and their messages matter, and they could utilize that as an income generating modality. And not to be codependent, not looking outside yourself for love, acceptance, validation, and belonging, because all that is nestled within. And it's also the root cause of a lot of addiction and codependency is people looking outside themselves to feel whole by filling it with some other hole outside of themselves. So if you would like help in that area, I highly recommend garnering my magical in-depth high-touch support. I offer digital products that really help you in those arenas, and I'm super proud and super excited to afford you that opportunity to grow and evolve and heal. I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. Don't forget to share and let me know you shared, and I will pull a card for you, and I hope you have a great day.